George Dowell, welcome to the Integral Chat. Thank you so much for joining me. I've been dying to speak to you for so long. I want to speak to you about your life story, basically, because it's one of the most inspirational life stories that there could possibly be. At 21, you became the youngest ever owner and chairman of a football club. And I want to find out and let our listeners and viewers know how that all came about. So take me back to your younger days. You were playing under 18s, I think, for Worthing, aspiring footballer. I mean, what were your dreams? What were your plans then?
I guess my dreams, like any sort of teenager, really playing football, and wanted to try and climb the ladder and play as high as I could. So yeah, football was my passion, and at the time I was 17, playing for Worthing in the under 18, sort of getting a few chances on the bench for the first team. So yeah, no, I was enjoying my football, and I was at college and stuff, just normal, 17-year-old lad really.
Did you think that you might make it professionally one day?
I think the professional game was probably a bit out of reach, but maybe semi-pro was my target, and that's what I was going towards. Because although it's not the Premier League game, and maybe it's not a full salary, but if you could supplement another job with a passion of yours that's also making a bit of money on the side and maybe paying your mortgage, that was kind of the goal I was going for. But obviously I wasn't going to rule out professional football. I was still shooting for the stars.
Of course. I mean, making any kind of career out of football is, when you love the game as you do and as I do, it's whatever you can do, isn't it, in the game. And at the time, semi-pro would have still been a really good career to have. But unfortunately, things didn't work out that way. You actually made the bench, didn't you? At was it 17? You made the bench for the first time.
Yeah.
So everything was looking great, and probably really exciting times for you. But what happened very, very shortly after that?
Yeah, so funny enough, well, I say funny enough, it's not that funny, but about a week after I was on the bench for the first team, I had a road traffic accident, and was paralysed from the chest down, which obviously put a pretty abrupt end to my playing career, really. And then I was looking for new ways to stay involved in the game.
How did the accident happen, the collision? What were the circumstances around it?
I was with a group of friends after football training, and we were just at a friend's house and thought it was getting late, we were all getting pretty hungry, so we drove to a local McDonald's, and it was on the way back from there that my friend lost control of the car. And I don't actually remember too much of the accident. I know that I remember before it, and there was sort of nothing else on the road, and there was nothing really going on out of the ordinary. And then I just remember waking up in hospital after that, and I think we'd ended up. I think the car had flipped a few times. We had ended up in a adjacent field to the dual carriageway, and that was it. I was flown to not flown. Went to Chichester Hospital initially, and then they sort of realised the severity of my injury, and then they got me to Soulsearching spinal unit in the early hours of that morning.
So unbelievably, you were the only one with severe injuries. The driver was fine, the other two passengers were fine. It's just one of those things. I mean, if you have no memory of the accident, but have you ever done any soul searching as to why me? Why was I the only one?
Definitely,
it's indescribable, isn't it?
It's crazy. Like everyone else, although obviously I wouldn't wish any further injury on any of them. They're all the people in the car were good friends. So, but at the time, I found it hard to believe that I had such a serious injury, and then everyone else in the car was like literally just cuts and bruises, not even like broken bones or anything. So I found that hard to understand, really, because it's not like everyone had their seatbelt on and I didn't. I had my seatbelt on too. It's just a freak accident, and I was the one that I guess took the brunt of it. But I did a lot of searching at the time, and I do have like flickers of memory from when I was in Chichester Hospital, and I remember everyone's like sort of family being there or being told that David's family's just turned up and so-and-so's family's just turned up, and and I was just kind of, are they all right? Are they all right? But but then I was kind of out of it, so I didn't really understand the level of my injuries. And then yeah, when they kept saying about Soulsearching spinal unit, I thought, well, okay, this isn't great. And then they were like, can you feel this? Can you feel that? And I was like, no, I can't feel any of that. So I was like, okay, this is pretty serious. But yeah, again, I was pretty out of it, so I don't remember it really.
I mean, that's everybody's worst nightmare, waking up in a hospital bed and someone telling you that kind of thing. When did it start to sink in? How long did it take?
It probably took me a couple of weeks for it to sink in, just because I was like so heavily medicated for a long time. I think my family obviously knew straight away as soon as we got to the spinal unit there. My consultant and all the staff there are pretty blunt about the injury, and I can see why they are. Like, they just said to my family straight away, like, this is what's happened. He's broke his neck at C5, C6. He's never going to walk again, and this is what you can expect for sort of the rest of your life. And I think they have to be like that, because they don't want to give any false hope to families and say, oh, we think this has happened, we think that's happened, because then they're going around asking questions in their own head. So they kind of, yeah, they're just very blunt. But obviously my family were reluctant to be as blunt with me, so it took me longer maybe for it to sink in, and I was pretty out of it. So I was kind of just, yeah, flat on my back, and I knew where I was and that I couldn't feel anything, and I kind of knew the seriousness of the accident, but yeah, maybe not fully comprehending what that would mean for the rest of my life, if you like.
Yeah. I think lots of people, I know I have, they've had that, what would I do if, someone told me that? How would I react? How would I be for the following weeks and months? And it's difficult to predict. Everybody's completely different. What were you like?
Well, I used to ask myself the same question. Like, it just comes up sometimes, doesn't it? Like, oh, what would you do if you were paralyzed? And like, as a teenager, you can't even comprehend what that would be like. You're like, oh, I'd rather, if I'm being brutally honest, I would have said before my injury, I'd rather be dead than this happened to me. And that was probably my reaction when I first started coming to terms with it. I was like, what's the point in being alive? Like, I can't play football, can't do this, can't do that, can't do anything with the things that I used to do. Yeah, what am I going to do? What's the point? And I probably felt like that for a while. I had like really good friends and family around me that were like supportive and trying to keep my spirits up, if you like. And I never got like too down. And although I had them thoughts going around in my head, I was never like, oh, I actually want to die. I don't think I ever felt like that. I think I kind of started to come to terms with it quite quickly, and yeah, and I think that is largely down to the support I had around me, and yeah, and the hospital itself were brilliant. It's sort of trying to make you understand that there is life after spinal cord injury, and there is so much you can do and go out and achieve if you want to, and yeah, it's just make the most of it. So that's kind of yeah, I quickly took that and ran with it really.
Well, you must have a really super strong spirit, because a lot of people wouldn't react like that. I mean, my dad was disabled in a wheelchair, but he was ill, so his was very gradual. It wasn't that kind of one minute you're completely sort of, I say normal, you know what I mean, walking around like everybody else, and then the next minute it's gone. Do you think you were in shock for a long time?
I think,
It's
yeah,
such a
I was.
thing. It's
Yeah,
such a traumatic thing to have to go through, body and mind.
Yeah, I mean, I just couldn't understand like what I was going to do next. In the first 3 months, I was kind of just laid flat on my back, and I had this like halo vest thing on, they called it. So I like, obviously, while my neck was healing, it's almost like a cast for your neck, so you just literally don't move at all. And yeah, it was just, yeah, literally flat on my back. I had like a TV monitor in there with some basic channels on it, and that was my life for like 3 months, just flat on my back. Had a lot of visitors, like I said earlier. I had really good family and friends. My mum sort of moved up to Salisbury from Worthing. It's about an hour and a half journey, which made it all the more surprising, or I was all the more grateful for the people that I was getting to come and visit, because it wasn't like it was just a local hospital up the road. It was a good sort of hour and a half away there and back. So yeah.
Were they all being strong for you, all the people around you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, everyone, my friends they were like trying to just treat me as normal, but obviously you'd see in the faces of some of them, sometimes they're like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they're the guys that I now and did hang around with like soon after my injury as well, like because they kind of, although it was shocking to start with, they knew what to expect when I did come home and stuff. So they're the people that I knocked about with, like from the off really. And yeah, I had a girlfriend at the time who would come up every weekend, and I had my grandparents who would come up sort of 2 or 3 times a week, and another friend who would come up twice a week and would just play Football Manager on a laptop or whatever. So yeah, there was like a lot of people that would come up. It was I very rarely went like 2 days without seeing someone. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, and obviously my dad would come every weekend. Yeah, it was loads of people coming up. So it was brilliant, really.
Yeah.
I can't be more thankful to anyone that came.
You're really, really lucky to have that kind of support system. What happened to the guys who you were in the collision with?
Yeah, it was quite awkward really, because 2 of the people in the car, so it was me and a friend. Obviously my family were quite angry with him, probably not rightly so, because he didn't actually do anything wrong, but obviously they just wanted someone to blame. So more so my mum, she was just like, I can't believe this has happened. But so I mean, he didn't come to visit, but I never had, and I did explain to my mum sort of when I came around, like there's no point hating or blaming him because he hasn't actually done anything wrong. It was just a freak accident. And then the 2 people in the back were girls, so they didn't really come up because it would have been awkward with my girlfriend. And not that there was anything, do you know what I mean, going on, but it was just a bit awkward. So they didn't come up. But there was actually another car that of friends that was at McDonald's when we were there as well. So they came with us, but they were like 5 minutes behind us. So there was 4 other kids in that car that I played football with, and yeah, they would come up and visit and stuff, and yeah, loads, like I said, loads of other people as well. So the people actually in the car I probably didn't see as much of when I was in hospital, but yeah, have done since.
So it's a long sort of road to recovery and rehab and things like that. And I imagine you worked extremely hard on it because you've got that kind of mentality. You can just tell that about you. So, but when did you start thinking about what you wanted to do for the rest of your life, if you like?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, rehab was really, yeah, I enjoyed rehab, to be honest. Like you have physios when you're in hospital, because I was on my, just flat on my back for like 3 months. I just wanted to do something. So it was kind of like a little release. They have like a gym at the spinal unit, and you get assigned a physio. So like 2 or 3 times a week, you'd go down to physio with them and learn new skills and learn how to live your life now and try and work out what does work, what doesn't work, and what can I do, what can't I do, all those sort of things, because you're starting from scratch. You have no idea. Like even just sitting up in a chair was impossible, because I just felt like I was floating. I couldn't feel anything below my shoulders, so it just felt like I'm floating and I was moving all over the place. So it's just them like little basic skills of trying to learn to live again, really. But yeah, once you get over that and you get not over that, but once you start to come to terms, okay, this is what I can do, this is what I can't do, then you start thinking, okay, how can I do some of the stuff that I used to do? Like, how can I use a laptop? How can I, how can I play the Xbox with my mates again? How can I do this? How can I do that? But I don't think I don't think I thought about for a long time, like what I actually want to do with my life as like a career plan or a job. I didn't see myself working again. I thought, what the hell am I going to be able to do as a job? And what am I going to be able to, what am I going to be able to do? I knew that football was my passion, but when I was in hospital, if I'm brutally honest, I found it hard to watch to start with. Found it hard to watch football because I was like, when I used to watch football, you'd watch it and then you'd go and sort of like replicate what your best favourite players are doing and stuff. So I did find it hard to watch initially, but then I think that summer was the 2010 World Cup, was it? And yeah, that quickly got me over, not enjoying watching anymore. I was straight back watching it, and all my friends come up and watch the England games at the hospital. It was really good atmosphere, to be fair. So yeah, it was tough to start with, but I guess it took me a long time, even maybe after hospital, to really work out what I wanted to do. I know I wanted to stay involved in football, and my friends were like, oh, you should start a team, we'll all come play for you. And so I did that initially, and just did some coaching and stuff.
Yeah, so you were doing that, and then kind of by chance, a friend's father mentioned to you that Worthing FC was in trouble. like in dire straits, pretty much. So when did that light bulb moment happen for you?
Pretty much straight away, because the friend's dad that you're referring to, he knew that I was looking for land, because I wanted to buy some land and put like a 3G pitch down, like a community hub for football for Worthing, because my team, Worthing Borough, were struggling for places to train and struggling for a home ground and stuff. So, and I knew that other local clubs were struggling too, because I was speaking to other local managers and saying, oh, where do you train? Where do you play? And they're like, oh, there's literally nowhere to do that. Like, once soon as the winter comes in, you can't train down the park anymore. You're pretty screwed. So I was looking for land to do that anyway, and he knew that, and he was still involved at Worthing Football Club as an under-18s coach. So he knew like how dire it was and how close they were to sort of going out of business. So I kind of just took my business plan of this 3G community hub and took it to the board at Worthing and said, like, these are the reasons why I think it would work here. And equally, I don't want to see the club go bust. I used to play here, and I've got so many good memories of playing like youth cup finals here and school cup finals and all that sort of stuff. It'd be such a shame for it to go. So I was kind of like, yeah, let's bring this all together and kill two birds with one stone. And here we are.
Happen. But you didn't want to just give them the money and let them run with it. You wanted to obviously take over with the compensation that you'd been given from the insurance company. So, I mean, I can imagine a lot of, I don't want to be sort of disrespectful, but a lot of men in football, they're kind of old-fashioned, stuffy, that kind of thing, even at the very lowest level. So what did they think about this guy who comes in young, 21 years old, coming in with this money, thinking he can take over and take over their football club, if you like?
Yeah, it was really awkward, because I knew the guy as well, and like the chairman at the time. And the guy that he'd been there like 50 years. So it wasn't like someone that's just new to it. He's like, his whole life has been down there. And if I'm brutally honest, like when I first went in, I didn't have the vision of me like running it all, but it quickly became apparent, like, if I'm going to be putting all this money in, I don't want the same people running it that have got it to this stage. So then I thought, okay, I think I'm going to have to get heavily involved in running the football club side. Obviously, I knew that I was going to be heavily involved in running like the operational side of the pitch and all that sort of stuff. But the football club side, initially, it wasn't like, oh, I wanted to come in and just take over. But after like some conversations about how it's going to look and how it's going to play out, it quickly became apparent that I can't. I can't responsibly invest this much money and not have a heavy involvement in overseeing the club, really, because it's so heavily now linked to the facility. So I kind of just brought in my own team of people, and it was a really awkward conversation to say to the guy, look, sorry, but you're not going to be the chairman anymore, and
you're out.
You're out. But I think it was the best thing to do, because like you said, it is like that at football clubs. Less so now. I think it is changing slightly, like more young people are getting involved, but certainly at the time it was kind of like a job for the boys, if you like. And it was almost like an old working man's club, rather than a football club that's trying to integrate itself into the community and be the town's club. It was just kind of like a little thing for them to do at the weekend, and it should never be that. So it was good to get some younger people on board and in with new ideas and ideas of how we can sort of capture the community and get them back involved in the club and make it their own club again.
Yeah, exactly. Because Worthing's a big place. It should have a football club that's well run and that's everybody goes to, and that is a community hub. So talk to me about the initial improvements that were implemented. You got the 3G pitch in so that it could be used all year round. Just recently you had the whole Futures Bright GoFundMe, the campaign. You've got new floodlights and new toilet block, and I imagine the disabled facilities down there are pretty decent as well.
They stand up to the test.
Exactly. So what was the turnaround like in the first couple of years?
I think the big thing that you mentioned there was the laying the 3G pitch, because that just meant that the whole community could now use the facility like during the week, because when it was a grass pitch, the ground was open on a Saturday afternoon or a Tuesday if we were playing at home, and other than that it was shut. So unless you like know about it, then you're not going to know about it. So there was no other reason for people to use the facility. Whereas as soon as we put the 3D pitch in, we had loads of youth teams coming down and training. We had men's teams. We had all sorts of different people using the facility. And then they might say, "Oh, there's a game on Saturday. I'll come down and watch that." So it just kind of gave them a tie and a link to the club and a reason to sort of get behind it. And then all them people that visit the facility, they maybe go and tell a friend, and blah, 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 more people will know about it, which was, I think that was the big thing. And just the fact that there was money being pumped into the club, obviously brought an attention locally. So yeah, people would just come down out of interest to see what was going on down there. And because we had such a good first season, I think then people stayed, and it's just built and built and built. But and another thing we did very early on, well, actually in the same summer, in the first summer, was like upgraded the bar facilities and stuff, and made it a real welcoming place for people to come to, so that if they did come down for the first time, they would be happy and keen to come back. We didn't want it to look like an old working man's club, and people would be like, "Oh no, I don't want to go back there. It's not comfortable. It's not welcoming." So yeah, we upgraded the bar and made it really nice and modern, and put a load of screens in there. Got Sky Sports, got BT, and all that sort of stuff, so people could watch the football before and after our games, and come down during the week and watch games. And yeah, just made it a really a nice place to be, hopefully.
Yeah, and you want it self-sustaining as well. And so you're getting all those people in, you're earning money off the back of it as well, which keeps it going. And so yeah, I mean, it's a brilliant business model. Obviously, you don't make tons of money from it, but when it's so important to the community, I mean, that's sort of, reward in itself, isn't it? And it always helps when the team is doing well.
Yeah, that does help.
And you got promotion in your first season, is that right?
Yeah, so the first year, like I said, it went really well in the first year, and yeah, we got promotion, which obviously helped kickstart the journey to where we are now.
Yeah, but obviously in between what's happened now, I'll leave that little spoiler just for the second, in case anyone doesn't know. You had COVID. So, I mean, for a little club like yourselves, how did that impact you?
Massively, really, and especially because what we were doing sort of on the pitch. Yes, like I say, in the first year we got a promotion, and we sort of took the crowds from about 200 to 350 to 400. Then gradually, year on year, it was going up and up. And just before COVID, we were sort of at a point where we had, I think, an average of 800 or so every home game, which was amazing, really. Like for our league, I think the next highest was maybe 400, 500. So we were well above sort of where we should be. But when COVID hit, we were top of the league with, I think, we took top of the league with eight points clear of 8 games to go. So we were in a really strong position to get our second promotion in 5 years. And COVID hit, and the league got null and voided, and that was tough to take for everyone involved at the club and all the fans and everyone, really, because getting to that next level would have been history for the club. The club's never played it at that level, but like you say earlier, which is a shame because it is such a big town, and it should have a club that's played at that level and higher. So it seems like a bit of a sleeping giant in non-league football. So it would have been huge for the club, but yeah, COVID came in and wiped out the next 2 seasons. So it was a nightmare, really.
Yeah. So that was how long it was. Was it 2 seasons? No football, nothing.
It null and voided the first season, and then there was a little glimmer of hope that we would start the next season. Then we actually, no, we did start it, and we played, I think, 8 games. Yeah. And we were top of the league again, and then it got cancelled again. So that wiped out that season as well. So 2 seasons got null and voided and curtailed.
Right. So then you finally get back underway, and you have an absolutely brilliant season again. And your 5-year plan was to take the team from the Isthmian South to the National League South. And what happened last Saturday?
Yeah, we got it. We got over the line. So, yeah, we had an amazing season. The manager and the players have, when you consider like how much turnaround there normally is in non-league football and players and stuff, to remain that consistent for 3 years, and just completely just smashed the season, really. I think we're 10 points clear. We've got 3 games to go, and we're champions of the Eastern League Premier and going into the National League South. So it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's brilliant. I mean, it's unreal. And how does that feel though to you, coming from where you've done, where you've been, taking over, It's been a bit of a journey for you, but it must feel absolutely amazing.
Yeah, no, it honestly does because, well, one, it's my hometown club, so I'm really proud of the club. But also like where we've taken it from like 200 fans to now averaging sort of 1,300 and quite often getting up to around 2,000 and over that on a couple of occasions. And now playing at a good semi-professional level of football is amazing, really. And I'm really proud that I was involved in the journey. I'm really happy that we've managed to, as a club and everyone involved on the pitch and off the pitch, we've managed to take the club to the highest it's ever been. So yeah, really proud.
Yeah, it's really special what you've done. And without you, it would never have happened. So when you think about it, I mean, to have had to have gone through what you did, you wouldn't say, you know, oh,
Yeah.
you're glad it's happened because obviously it's a traumatic event in your life. But to have taken you to this point, do you believe in fate? How do you look at it philosophically now?
I always say that I'm obviously, if I'm honest, I would change it back if I could.
Of
But
course.
at the same time, I'm really grateful for the experiences I've had post injury and that I've experienced things that I would never have done if I hadn't had the injury. And I'm happy with what I've done with my life. I'm happy with my life. I'm happy in my life. I'm not like craving going back to my old life, if you like, or craving being able to, or being fully able-bodied or anything like that. I'm quite content with my life. But yeah, obviously, if you could flick a switch and be fully able-bodied back at, well, not necessarily back at 17. Obviously, everyone would want to go back to being young again. But if you could flick a switch and be like able-bodied, then you would. But yeah, I'm quite happy with my life, and I'm really proud of the achievements that I've done post injury and the experiences I've had.
How much has it changed, not just the football club, but the town and the people there? I mean, you must be some sort of legend.
I don't know about that.
I
I'm
bet
really
you are. Everyone
also
must love you.
everyone that supports the club seems to at the moment, but yeah, I'm sure there's going to be some tough days ahead. And even when we first got promoted, we were struggling in the league above in the first season, and yeah, that wasn't. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's still maybe grateful, but yeah, you don't get the love. But yeah, no, it's good in the town, and other things I'm really proud of from the club is just like when we've now got a really good player pathway for our youth teams, which is obviously something I was really passionate about when I first got involved. We had an under 18s, but we didn't have anything else, and now we've got sort of an under 19s education program. We've got teams from 16s down to 14s, and then we've got a development centre that runs all the way down to under 8. So that was something I was really passionate about getting started because I was a youth player, and I appreciated the pathway into the first team, even though when I was playing, it wasn't really there. It was really rare that a player would sort of break through from them under 18s into the first team. The jump seemed so big, but yeah, now we've tried to close that gap, and the manager and the director of football have been brilliant at closing that gap and giving young players a chance, and that's helping with recruitment for the next year and the next year. And we've also got women's teams now. We're trying to launch a women's development centre. We've got seniors teams. We've got an inclusive team for people with disabilities. So yeah, we're really trying to include the whole community and not leave anyone out. And I think that's being reflected in our crowds because everyone's involved.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And so what's the plan? Obviously, you're going to be in the National League South next season. So I guess that means you'll be on BT.
Yeah, I think there's a BT deal with like highlight shows now.
Yeah. So you'll be on there. So what's the plan for the first team then? Can you go any higher? You just sort of want to see how this one goes.
We were speaking about it, I just can't at the moment. I'm struggling to see a ceiling, so I want to keep I want to just keep going and seeing where we can get to. Obviously there's going to be challenges the higher up you go. You're going to need more ground improvements and other things like that, but we're yet to make a new 5-year plan type thing, but we are certainly not stopping here, and we want to keep pushing, and I'm confident that we can fare well in the league above, and I'd like to think in the not too distant future we can get maybe one more promotion, but I'm not applying any pressure to anyone. It's just that's what I'd like to see.
I think the sky's the limit, George. I really do. And just finally, I mean, you've done so much for football in your town, obviously, but What do you think football has done for you?
Well, I think it has. Yeah, it's changed. Well, it's kept me on the straight and narrow. I think even like growing up, you could go one way or the other. Football was always my passion, and I wouldn't be out drinking or doing anything stupid because I was training and I had a game the next day or whatever. So even before my injury, it kept me like that. But yeah, post injury, it's completely kept my brain in a good place. And I always say, like, selfishly, everyone's like, oh, not everyone, some people say, oh, thank you so much for buying the club and saving it and that. But I always say, like, it's actually, the club has saved me because it's gave me sort of like a purpose in life. I was kind of just at home twiddling my thumbs, not doing anything, and sort of going stir crazy, really. So yeah, to have that purpose and that ambition and that thing back in my life that I can really be passionate about, get up in the morning and sort of work towards it, it's been a lifesaver, really. So yeah, I can't thank football as a thing, as a sport, enough.
That's brilliant. Well, good luck with everything next season. I can't wait to see how you get on. I'm sure you guys are going to smash it, definitely.
It's going to be exciting.
Thanks for joining us on the Integral Chat, George.
Thanks for having me. Cheers.